All right, hey, let's jump in. We're 7 minutes in here. Welcome everyone. See a couple familiar faces. How's it going, Kathy, Steve? I don't see your face, but good to see you. Um, remember, two goals here today: learn LinkedIn, have a good time. Rule. Wow, I'm gonna just cut all that out because I'm a little bit jittery. Let's just jump in. Hey, Judy Hayes. Susan was curious about last week's topic you brought up with the CBIS, or the email marketing spam triggering links being shut down and flagged as malicious on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Could you give everyone a recap on that, because I feel like that's a big enough deal to revisit it for a minute today.
Yeah, we actually found the root of it. What happened was, and this is just to be aware of, one of the partners in the company had uploaded a plugin to the WordPress website, and that plugin triggered some kind of spam. And so what happened was LinkedIn is on the back end, they're using this SUB, whatever it is, Serble.
Serval, yeah.
Yeah, and if they see something, I guess they're trying to cut down on spam as well. They immediately blacklisted my client's website, and we had all this stuff going to it. We had just sent out a newsletter, and so one of the partners said, hey, I'm clicking on this, and it's going to a malware warning. And we didn't know what it was, so we had to fill out all of this documentation, I mean, to really prove that we weren't spammers and that, we owned the URL and it was legit. But it got back to, we finally were able to detect it, and luckily my client has they do technology, so they actually were able to figure this out. Most clients, they probably was like, I don't know how that happened. So it's a couple of things. Just I don't know what the lesson is there, but the good news is we were on it, we dealt with it, we got it contained before it became like a brand damaging exercise. Because what I did is I went into their recent articles and I pulled all the links that were going to the website, and I just took them down. So the content was still there, but we weren't directing anybody to malware. And then we addressed it, and then now we're back in the whitelist. But it was scary as heck. It was like, whoa, but LinkedIn is, to some degree, they're paying attention to certain things. They were extremely responsive. I was very impressed. I didn't go on Twitter. I just did LinkedIn Help, and they were really on it. So that's what happened. That's the story.
Judy, can you remind me when you were in the thick of the mess and when you clicked the link, you were taken to, am I remembering right? It was like a LinkedIn page that says like warning.
It was
right?
a redirect. Yeah, it was.
It would redirect. Okay.
Shot it somewhere here. Yeah, it was a redirect that said, and where the heck is it now? I might have put it in their folder, but it was a redirect that, where was it? I think this is the screenshot. Bear with me a second here.
Can I make you co-host so you can share your screen?
I think, yeah, I have to, let me do this. Let me send you the Dropbox link. Or I think I can, yeah. Let me view it on Dropbox.com so I can pull this in. So here, yeah. I'll bring you in. So what do? I lost my Zoom window. There it is. Okay.
So you should be able to share a screen now.
There it is. Okay. So this is what it looks like. So you can see here, LinkedIn put, and I'm trying to see, this is giving me a Dropbox link, so I'm trying to see what they put on it. They appended the link with something that said malware. And so this is what, if someone were to click on this particular link, they would get this. And it says, for your safety, we've blocked it. Go back to LinkedIn. And that was, at first I thought, oh, this is just, nothing to worry about. And then when it was happening to every single link that was going to the root URL here, this part, the client URL, that was a big problem.
Yeah.
So the documentation that we had to, go through, it was very, very onerous, just to dig up all this stuff. And we had to, provide receipts that we had paid for the URL, and that, if it happens to you, you just have to be aware of it, So
Judy, all this came off of an app that he had downloaded?
Well, that's what we detected, because apparently somebody else got, I don't know how he figured it out, but it was a plugin that was, it was a third-party plugin, I guess, that wasn't vetted.
Yeah.
That someone had added to the website. And so what I had to do is I disabled every single plugin that wasn't absolutely mandatory to keep the site functioning. And we got it down to a bare bone. I think there's only like 7 plugins right now on the site. Yeah. Absolutely necessary. But it got us, we're not, we're legit now. We're back in the whitelist. But yeah, man, that was scary. It was really scary. So, what can I say? Now I can talk about it, but that was last week. And I think it was happening during the call, because I think I had sent out the newsletter, on Monday, and then I got the thing on Tuesday, and it was like, oh my gosh, the world is falling in. But,
So I have a friend who that happened to as well. I haven't checked in on him. I called it to his attention because the link he sent me in chat was showing that. But he has a website that's been established for, well over a decade. So I'm going to check him in with him and see what came of that. But that's
yeah, I mean, because we had to look at the partners are all over the country and they have different IP addresses. So we actually had to, submit all the IP addresses. So you have to look at what happened, I guess. And this is, I don't know if this ties into that bot scheme that I've been having with getting all those followers with Bitcoins, because that's still happening. And LinkedIn has done nothing about that.
I don't think they'd be related.
They don't care. Anyway.
Yeah. They don't care.
But it was interesting, though, it's very easy, I guess, for a site to get hijacked, so if you put in the wrong plugin or you're doing something bad and you get marked a few times, it can, if something like this happens on LinkedIn. And I think here's the other thing. LinkedIn is a Moz 100. I think, what are they, like 98 or something on the Moz 100, because of integrity. So they're taking it serious. So that's another reason why when I do email or inbox messaging in LinkedIn, I always ask permission before I shoot out links, because I have been on the receiving end of suspicious messages that is like, oh, I'm not clicking that link. And I've seen a couple of clients actually have their accounts hijacked. That, all of a sudden a message come across and this doesn't look right. So I'll reach out to them via email and say, hey, did you send that message? And they're like, no, my account got hijacked. So yeah, we just have to be aware of this stuff. That's all. And that's why forums like this, Isaac, are really great, so we can talk about these kinds of things. And again, my applaud, kudos to LinkedIn for being on this and working with us to get this thing fixed.
Yeah.
So we're back.
So what happens under the hood there is there's 2 ways that your email marketing could get flagged. One would be you're actually using email marketing software and you're doing a really bad job and getting marked as spam. The other would be if you have something like your site gets injected and then it's using like your normal website's mail function, like someone fills out a contact form, you get an email. It's like that. The website is the originator of the emails, and instead of it being your normal contact form stuff, it just is, they're using it for like pharmaceutical and Viagra emails. It's like you get those weird ones and you're like, what the heck is that? It's like that. That's probably what's going on under the hood there. Yeah. What makes me go, holy smokes, is you can do a bad job at email marketing and lose your content marketing on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, I have not experienced that. Google will tell you if your site's been hacked, but not related to email spam, right?
Yeah. So that's, and that's LinkedIn kind of being, I guess, proactive. I don't know.
I was going to say what kind of makes me go, holy smokes, is you got a reply from LinkedIn help.
Yes. So yes, they are, but it took, I wrote a very detailed, when I write a, inquiry, it's very factual, and here's what happened, here's the screenshots, and I give them the whole thing. And they were pretty good about that. But yes, we got a reply. The first course is go to LinkedIn help and then go to Twitter. Because sometimes Twitter is like, they're more responsive on that for some reason. I don't know why.
Judy, do you remember the name of the website again? I wrote it down. I just don't have it.
Oh, what was it?
Service?
SRBL. I think it was
Serval.
Serval.org, which is really weird because no, it's not Serval.org. What is it?
It is. It is here. I'm going to put it in the chat
Look
again.
at the website, though. Look at the website. They haven't updated their terms of service. The thing is old. The copyright goes to 2012
Hmm.
when they sent some FAQ link, and this is like, man, this website is like, it's ridiculous. It's outdated. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised that LinkedIn is using this as the definitive.
I'm not.
This thing is really old, you know. But you know, it's and it was regarding email spam. So I don't know. It's an interesting. You know, they also look at like spam assassin and things like that. But apparently, this is. They said it's the first stage to identify 80 to 90% of unsolicited messages. So. And I on LinkedIn, I know if someone's scraping data because the way I've set up my email on the Google Suite, you can do a plus. So I do Judy plus LinkedIn at my domain, and so I know when someone's scraping data.
Yeah,
because it's coming to me that way, and it's like, all right, this is not okay, and I report it. I report it as spam.
Since there's so many people that use LinkedIn for email marketing, I wonder if that's one reason why they try to hold the line there.
Well, again, nobody wants. I mean, my inbox. I don't know about you guys, but if I were a CEO, my inbox is out of control. So to have someone then start spamming me stuff that I haven't asked for, it's not okay.
Maybe you can really stick it to them by reporting it to Serval.
Oh gosh, but you know the California law just went into effect, and it's just a matter of time before other states start picking that up.
Yeah.
But you know, GDPR was the first level. Now it's the California CCPA, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to get harder and harder because asking permission is important. I think otherwise it's spam. It is.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. Makes you want to be a good player.
Someone says not able to reach Serval.org. It's it's not even a secure website, which blows my mind. It's because it's supposed to be SSL secure. This isn't even a secure site. I'm on Serval.org. Let me copy this link. Try the WWs. Try that. I just put it.
Yeah, I tried the WWs. I tried the non-WWs, but I'm just getting server IP address could not be found. So
their own thing. I don't.
I got it. I clicked in.
Did
fine.
you?
Yeah.
It's probably regional with your service provider.
Link and worked fine.
Got it. Okay.
Crazy. So Judy Parsons, you were asking, or no, was it Judy? It was Susan was asking about that before we started. Was there anything else, Susan, that you were curious about that? No. Oh, I can't hear you, Susan. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, that covered it. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Totally. Yeah. Super big deal. All right. Anything else happen this week? Anybody learn anything? Discover anything?
I heard something really big on the news this morning.
What?
That doesn't affect any of us, but it's really big. The United States might ban TikTok.
Oh yeah, they were talking about that yesterday.
What was it?
Alfred's been saying that for months now.
Yeah, I work for the Chinese government, so I know about all of this stuff and what the Chinese government's doing. So yeah, Isaac remembers. I've talked about TikTok. Don't use it. I've talked about it, back beginning in January when you and I met, Isaac?
Yep.
My friends that do Facebook and Instagram work, my peers on the other side over there, are into TikTok too. So I'm sure they saw the word on it, but I'll find out what their feelings are and stuff. I don't trust China at all anymore.
Pay attention with any service you use that's free, where the servers are hosted. Zoom had the same problem. Zoom had all of their servers hosted in China. And then when the American government found out about it, Zoom had to tighten up their security and move servers onto America, where American companies then are using American-based servers. Any server based in China, the government has access to it. Any foreign developed app out of China that's downloaded onto your phone gives the Chinese government access to the information on your phone. So, like I said, I work for the Chinese government. I know what they're up to, and So, all right, enough said.
Is it the same thing in Russia?
Yep. So
Конечно.
America is the only place that if you have a server in America, you cannot access the information through Apple. You have to have a very specific warrant for Apple to look for something based on a US server. In other countries, it's whatever those laws are that govern that. That's why the EU came up with these very strict laws regarding Google and other platforms based on EU policies. So you just need to know that.
Good to know. Stephen, did you say something in chat? Is that your wheelhouse, or is that related to this, or did I miss it and just now see it?
No, I'm just saying I can visit the servo.org.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Hey, I have one, Isaac, real quick.
Shoot.
It's not really a technical thing. It's more like a cool, so it's a LinkedIn events. So thank you guys. Thanks to you, I just started. And last week you told me don't delete the old ones, just continue to add new ones. So I did, and that makes sense because there's a history there. And so I invite people individually, and they actually register to the event because I have a nice little Google Form Docs.
Oh, nice. So that's a good idea, Bruce.
So here's so that was just the setup. So here's the thing. If you're trying to get connections, you may want to consider starting an event, a LinkedIn event, even if it's just you and your brother-in-law. You know, it doesn't really matter. But people will register for anything. That's what I'm finding out. And when they register, they're basically holding up their hand to say, okay, I'm quasi-interested. Connect with me or whatever. So the part B, and then I'm all done, is just because somebody registers for something doesn't mean they're actually going to show up. So I did a 1-2 punch. I did a LinkedIn Messenger. Is that what it's called? Messenger? Yeah. Just to confirm that they registered. And then I did an email. I went into their contact information, grabbed their email, and just sent them outside of LinkedIn a nice little one-to-one email. Thanks for registering, blah, blah, blah. And so guys, the takeaway for me is somebody can register for something through LinkedIn events. Then they can see your LinkedIn message. Then they can see it outside in their email box. That's 3 touches, right? That doesn't mean they're coming.
Bruce.
It doesn't mean they're coming.
And you can bring them into your ecosystem. That's a really good idea, Bruce. And you can only invite to your event your first degree connections. So if you want to use events in the event registration to build out your book of business, your email marketing list, you'd want to bring into that initiative some other people, right? Because you already have the contact info of your first degree connections.
There's nothing new there.
Yeah, right. So if you enable the permissions on the event, then the other attendees can invite other people as well. So if you have the right people going to the event and then they're inviting and the registration process is part of it, you could pretty easily get the contact information of your second, third degree connections who are registering for the event.
Cool. It's called enable permissions.
Yeah.
I would love to see that form that you used or the process, Bruce.
Can I just say it out loud since I'm on my iPhone? It's very simple. You ready?
Okay.
So if we're connected, just go to LinkedIn, Bruce Seidman, Baltimore. Or personalizedsalescoaching.com/RSVP.
Oh, we're still pending, Bruce. You're ghosting me.
Oh my gosh.
It's wait. In my defense, I am not, I'm coming to you with Isaac's meeting so I can be more of a LinkedIn guy. I never go on LinkedIn. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he's ghosting
No worries.
me, guys.
So you could use for the event registration to gather their name and email, that kind of thing. You could use Google Form. You can sync a Google Sheet, and then that's helpful because the Google Sheet using Zapier can pretty much go anywhere, which is very helpful.
Oh, it's so true.
And then you could just do Eventbrite. I feel like Eventbrite is less utility because there's no Google Sheet, but it is more robust internally. So.
Right. The problem with Eventbrite.
Totally.
Oh, sorry. Google. I agree. Sorry, Google. Isaac, I agree. Sometimes Eventbrite has problems with when you register and you get your free ticket and then you go into the forum, sometimes you can't enter the forum. And especially if you're maybe 5 minutes late, you're blocked. So I found with Eventbrite,
Okay.
I always show up 5 minutes early. So, and it depends if they have Eventbrite connected to Zoom or another video platform. So Eventbrite is good, but I've had problems with it in the past. So don't be surprised if you have problems too.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I also trust a Google form a lot less than Eventbrite. I'd be more hesitant to put my email in a Google form because it's a Google form. I just don't know what's going to happen.
You know what the
So
privacy policy is or anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. Bruce, good job. That's a good insight. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate that.
One thing, I don't know if we talked about this, because again, keeping up with these changes. Did you notice now when you send a connection request, it automatically sends it out and then it says,
Add a message later?
No. Yeah, did you notice that now? So you don't,
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't want to.
Reverse order.
Yeah, why is that the default? Why is that the default? The default
I don't know.
should, you have to put a note in.
I agree. I think that's been there for a while, unless it's a change that they are.
Oh, it's pretty new.
It might be per
last week. Too.
It might be per account. I've definitely seen that months ago, but again, that could be one of those things that it's not the same for everybody right away. That's probably what's going on there.
The other thing is when you invite someone on Sales Navigator, there's a checkbox automatically checked that says save as lead. And you know, in my world, I have to go delete all those saved leads because the systems are sending them, and I got to go take care of them over here because we hit 1,500 leads pretty quick.
Sure.
And there's no way to set the default on the checkbox.
Yeah.
Does anyone else notice that? I mean, it's been there. That's been there for a while.
The save to leads has been there for a long time. It hasn't really messed with us with the way that we're doing things, but if the default. I have had lots of people message me with that problem where they're not realizing that every time they send the invite, it gets saved. And they're like, I can't send invites anymore. And I'm like, how many saved leads do you have? 1,500. So happens all the time. Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a big pain point. It also does encourage people to only connect with individuals that they would be wanting to target and save and use those resources on. So I could see the logic there.
I mean, they're not a lead when they get invited. They're a lead when they accept or when they respond. In our world, we don't consider them a lead when they accept, only when they respond.
Exactly. The response is what counts.
And then we save them as a lead, actually, manually.
I agree. I think there's also the way that LinkedIn uses the word lead on SalesNav compared to like free and business account is some of the issue there. So even they just renamed the search filters, right? In Sales Navigator recently, it's now it's a lead search and it's account search. Lead filter, account filter. You save a person in Sales Nav. Person is the same thing as lead. It's the lingo that they use, but I agree. It's a prospect until they're a lead, but they just use the word lead all the time.
They're following some of the terminology of the CRM systems.
Yeah.
In that category, at least.
Yep. Also, more recently, there's the Save to CRM grayed out option that you'll see in the messaging inbox for SalesNav. You see that? It's a little option that says Save to CRM, and then it says like we don't have write permissions. This is an integration for I think Salesforce and Dynamics, right?
And with enterprise level accounts,
and you have to have enterprise level,
and all that kind of stuff to get that working. It's not for folks like you and I to put them into our systems.
Yeah. Can you do I don't know the answer to this. Can you save to CRM on a team account if you are paying for Salesforce or Dynamics? I don't know the answer.
I have a developer account and that doesn't seem.
Okay. Just curious.
Okay. By the way, if you want to go to Pipedrive, you use Zap Info and zap it right into Pipedrive, which is what I do and my clients are doing right now. $30 account, LinkedIn profile into my CRM, search into my CRM. Just like that. Yep.
Cool. Very cool. Oh man, we're halfway through the hour. Any other good stuff from this last week? Did you see the ability to hover over in the normal LinkedIn inbox? You hover over someone's face and it turns into a check, and then you can check a bunch of people's faces and then bulk delete, archive, or mark as unread?
No, why don't you show that?
Oh, over in messages?
Yeah, well, I don't like having my inbox out for the world to see. You want to just check it out?
Why not? You have something to hide, Isaac?
I just, with all this privacy stuff, I just know that LinkedIn's going to be like, there's the reason we've been looking for this for years. Bye-bye, Zico.
All right, well, walk us through it then, so we can walk through it specifically. Where do we click?
If you, you know what I can do? Hang on. I think I can actually share just a section of my screen. No, hang on one second. If you go to the normal LinkedIn inbox and you hover over the headshot on the left.
I have a question. Has anyone been able to figure out how to use the phonetic pronunciation?
I don't have it yet.
Who has it? Does anyone have it?
Jer has it.
Jer has it?
Yeah, but he's also in the Netherlands, so I'm not sure if they're releasing it in other countries first, where everyone's not sure. I'm totally going to do something fun, though, where I'm going to be like Supreme Master, just to give people just a little laugh and to see if they actually did anything. I don't know. But I don't have it yet. Sorry.
Okay.
Are you saying for your name, Judy? Because I've got it. We've got it in the UK.
I'm going to look. Is it only something that's on mobile?
Yes, I did it on mobile, but you can see it on the desktop as well.
Are you aware, Judy, can you record it on the desktop?
I didn't have the option to record it on the desktop. Okay. So I did it on my mobile.
Okay. So here, I'm on your profile right now, Judy. Great job. And I'm not seeing where to do it. So it might be you don't get to listen until you have the option, you know? That might be what's going on.
Ah, right. I didn't realize that. I thought you could still.
So where are we at here? It would be somewhere in there, right?
Yes, it's just by your name.
Okay, yeah. So I probably just don't have the option yet, and so I can't do it. Cool. Cool, not cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do something fun with my name there. Hopefully it doesn't violate the rules, get me in trouble. Darth Vader or something. I don't know. Okay. Oh, there was one other thing that reminded me. What was it? Oh, I was so excited to tell you guys something I stumbled upon. I think I lost it. Anything else? Nothing? All right, cool. Well, should we talk about, I really want to remember what that was. Okay, it's going to come to me right in the middle of the next thing. So do you want to talk about getting conversations off of LinkedIn into your sales funnel? That was kind of the main point there. Everyone's like, oh yes, for the love of God, let's stop talking about shiny things.
No, all the shiny things. But yes,
that's cool.
I suppose
cool.
we can be, productive instead of chatting.
All right. Well, the TikTok thing was actually kind of relevant, even though it's Asia and TikTok instead of LinkedIn, but it drives home the point that you don't want to have audience rental, right? If you've been using TikTok and you don't have their contact info and TikTok goes away, you're done. You're dundies, Here's your dundies award from the office. Same thing with LinkedIn. Your account, something happens or whatever, any change happens. If you've been relying only on LinkedIn, you're just kind of in big trouble. So audience rental is a real potential liability. And then obviously you don't exchange money on LinkedIn yet. So there has to be a process where you bring people off of LinkedIn into either your email marketing funnel or into your sales funnel. And I feel like it can be challenging to do that. It's less challenging when you know if a person's a qualified lead because you've been having a dialogue. It's less challenging when you know that their account is ready to buy, but it can be just a challenge. So I'd love to hear people's strategies on getting the conversation off of LinkedIn into either like voluntarily, not I just added you to my newsletter and you didn't ask. I mean, voluntarily adding people to they've opted into either your email marketing funnel or your sales funnel. You guys are all pros here. Surprise me.
You don't have to opt into a sales funnel. But an email funnel, if you're going to send something to somebody, perhaps, but if you're just going to track someone in your CRM through your funnel, you don't have to opt into my pipe drive. I mean,
right.
So
sorry.
I ran a campaign. Actually, it was really successful. What we did was, it's for a client that does a lot of business at trade shows. Okay. And so we thought, okay, how do we get the audience talking? And so we asked them a question. And the message after we connected, we said, hey, I'm putting together an article on trade shows. Love to hear the pros, cons.
Mm-hmm.
Just left it like that. Again, I believe the messaging should be something you typed on your mobile. Because if it looks like it's this big missive and then it's got your, boilerplate signature, that's spam. Mm-hmm. So we got a phenomenal response, and we were able to actually have conversations. People were like, yeah, sure. Here's what I think. And then so our follow-up after they responded was, this is great. Could I talk to you a little bit more about this? Mm-hmm. Then we had the conversation. Several converted to clients. We went on creating a beautiful article. We got great quotes. We've leveraged. We constantly recycling this, and now we're going into how to now adjust to virtual trade shows, because in this particular industry this client is in, they're not going to have physical trade shows at least in 2020. So, but they are having virtual trade shows. Yep. So we're going to take that a step further now and re-engage with people. So I think if you think about what the clients, or what the, I'm talking clients because I'm doing it for clients, not myself, but what is their kind of, what's the entry question? I have another client who's a CPA firm, and our question there was, we were creating a survey on electronic tools that CPA firms are using. And again, we did the same thing, and we asked them, would you be interested in this, participating in this quick survey? And, we'll give you a copy of it after it's done. Again, got a good response on that, and we were able to produce the document. So I think asking a really good question, not a stupid question, and not one of like, what's your business priority? It's like, no. Ask them something really relevant, Yep. And I think I just got something today that was really interesting. It was somebody saying, I thought this was interesting because I know he had to go to the extent of finding my connect, because I am default follow now. And he said, hey, Judy, I'm doing some research on how COVID is changing the approaches event leaders are taking when planning corporate events. If you're open to sharing, I'd really appreciate your feedback. That sounded pretty genuine to me. Now, he hasn't hit me yet to sell me anything. So I accepted the request based on that. And now my expectation is he's going to reach back out and ask me the question or ask me to talk about it. And so I think, again, he obviously looked at my profile and knows that I'm working on events, and so I think if you can find that common thread and something that touches the pain point of your prospect, and you present it in a non-salesy way that is authentic and genuine, I think you'll get a better response. And then from that, you can actually take and create the content, share it with them, leverage that, and then it exponentially grows. So that's the approach that I'm seeing working right now. Putting people into funnels, I think is that one-to-many approach. I don't want to be in funnels. Do you want to be in funnels, anyone? Anyone want to be receiving crap? Funnels are not good. And so I think, for us that are doing funnels, we need to think about, like, I'll give you an example of a good funnel. We have a client that's a coach, and what we do in the funnel is they go into the funnel by taking the assessment. Once they take the assessment, then based on their score, they're put into 3 categories. And then we give them tools and tips and exercises over the course of a 4-week period to better that score. And then we invite them back to another assessment, and with the goal of getting them to buy into the program.
Nice.
So we're giving them some really good stuff. We're not pitching them. We're saying, okay, here, do these exercises and let's check back and try to gamify it. So I think when you're approaching a funnel like that, like what's in it for them always, I think it's going to be a better reflection on your brand and better engagement. As opposed to, here's what we do, here's how great we are, here's it, blah, 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 delete, spam, done.
You definitely want to provide content to them that they can use, because otherwise they're just going to feel like they're being pressured all the time. So I love that idea of doing the gamification and having like little goals that they have to complete or whatever. That's just happens once every month or something like that to make them get better. But yeah, you definitely just throwing people into a funnel, if it's something, even if it's something that they are interested in, they're not going to engage with it long term if all you're saying is buy from me, buy from me, buy from me.
Yeah.
What I'm using are the different, like LinkedIn Live. Everybody's using LinkedIn Live for different things, and the one I watch every day at 9 is business and usual. And what I do is I watch that live, and every day they have a different topic, and there's about 200 or 300 people that are on that live doing different types of chatting about the topics. I'll look at what people are chatting about. I will reply to that chat within the half hour, and then that person and I usually connect offline to have a chat about that particular conversation. I'm able to do that because I'm doing more of the human to human contact. That may not be able to be done with mass quantity, but that gives me a chance to develop. I try to do at least 5 new contacts a day talking about a common topic, and I know that person's interested in that topic because they commented on it. I replied to it, so they know who I am. So then when I go offline and send them a message, I can say, hey, we're on the same talk. This is who I am. Read my profile and let's talk. And then we talk about the topic, and then we'll see where the conversation goes.
And then Alfred, how do you get that conversation off of LinkedIn onto phone or email?
Oh, and then from there, well, I've done it with Susan in the past in our group. I've done it with Judy in our group. I've done it with Bruce. I've done it with Mike. I don't know if I've talked to, who else on here?
Me.
Scott and I have never talked on the phone, but, and then same with you, Isaac. You know, we have a little bit of a conversation. It's like, hey, let's talk on the phone and have a more personal conversation. And it's worked with Susan and Judy and Mike, and we've all had chats on the phone, and especially Bruce. You know, I'm part of the Monday supper, Monday supper club or breakfast club, or, so never get Bruce on the phone because you can never get Bruce off the phone.
He's right.
Hey, love you, Bruce.
I have a thing to add to that, and I just got this idea because one of our clients in the CPA industry, they're slow adopters of LinkedIn. That industry is their email. It's like, oh, okay, email. But I have my client, they're doing handwritten notes. A couple handwritten notes. What they did was they gave an Amazon gift card for participating in the survey. So I have them doing Amazon handwritten notes. They're using a service. But one of the things that I just started doing is after I have that 15-minute virtual coffee, I got these, I don't know if you can see these.
Oh, those are cute.
Thanks a latte note cards. And I can say, it was great getting to know you, and so again, what you want to do is you want to stand out, but really what you want to do is build a relationship. And you're going to earn credibility, you're going to build trust, and you're going to stand out from all the noise. So whatever we can do or do for our clients, I think that just adds to how do we differentiate ourselves, and how do we, build that credit and be real. And who doesn't like getting something in the mail? I mean, something good.
Yeah.
So Oh, I'm sorry, Isaac.
Go ahead, Penny. No, go for it.
So one of the things, I'm a newer salesperson. So I've officially been in a sales role for like 9 months. So me personally, I'm all about relationships. I am not about mass emailing crap to people in general. So I go and I actually have individual conversations on LinkedIn. And then as I'm talking to them and we're talking about whatever, because conversations go wherever, whenever you talk to people, eventually while we're talking, I go, okay, so this might be a really good connection for me in terms of an ideal client. And then I ask if we can just have a call. Would you be interested in having a 20-minute chat to get to know you better and see if we can work together? Like, it's literally taking the in-person networking and moving it online and just being a human. I'm sure you get that if you read over any of my stuff. I just am a human the whole time.
Yep. I'm taking notes as everyone types.
Yes.
And then to build on on what Judy had to say was that I was invited to a virtual wine tasting, and it was a sales call. They were trying to get me to buy life insurance, not life insurance, but some sort of protection policy about my assets and moving them into an LLC, so on and so forth. But I thought, okay, well, a virtual wine tasting. Well, then a month before they wanted me to register. I'm thinking, wow, this is awfully weird, a month before. And then I said, okay, whatever. I gave them my address, I registered. And then a week before, there was a knock on the door. I'm like, who's knocking on my door? Nobody knocks on my door. I'm in an apartment. This is COVID. Who could that possibly be? And then I thought, no, it's not the Chinese government. So just joking. And I opened the door, and
we heard what you said about TikTok.
Delivered me a bottle of wine for this virtual wine tasting.
Nice.
And I thought, oh my God, this was cool. It was a $40 bottle of wine, a BB special select. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really nice. Number one. Number two, I have to really show up for the meeting now because they sent me a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And so they spent 10 minutes with the vineyard talking about the wine, selling the wine, and then the purpose of the meeting was to get me to talk about LLC and protecting my assets and the different ways to minimize my taxes, and that was a whole nother part. But I thought it was great, and it builds on Judy's thing about this, you know, here's a latte and let's chat, and you know, it's right now it's H to H, the human contact, and people, I connected with that person, and I listened and I showed up because I had to. Well, I didn't have to, but I couldn't not show up. They sent me
obligated.
And then I had to listen to all 1 hour because it's like, I'm not going to drink the wine and then drop out early. I mean, and not be that kind of schmuck. So
yeah, I think that's brilliant. And that's the second time I've heard this. I had another client tell me he has it's a virtual happy hour that someone sent him a box of 3 little wines, and then they did it during the call. I just think it's brilliant. I think this is the kind of silver linings that come out of how do we do business in this new paradigm.
Yeah.
So
people still want to drink booze and get together. Hey, no one's going to stop that wave.
Hey, you know what I love? Andy Crestodina. I don't know if anyone knows Andy. He's a content wizard, Orbit Media Studios. It's his company out of Chicago. They used to do a happy hour every month, and now they moved it to virtual, and it's called Wine and Web. And it's every other Tuesday, and it is phenomenal. And when they get deep dive into content and Google Analytics and kind of how the whole thing works together. But everyone brings their own wine, obviously. But we're all over the country now, not just Chicago. So I think this kind of creative use of time, you know, to still keep people engaged, I think is really just be open to something different. And sometimes go back to old methods, you know, handwritten notes, packages in the mail, people knocking on your door, you know. I mean, I don't know about knocking on your door, but.
Yeah, one of the things that I personally do is once a month, all of us at the sales team at our company, we sit down and we write cards. We just take one of our cards that are branded for strategy, and we just send a note, whether it's a prospect that we've been talking to or a current client. Just that extra touch of being in person is really what we're trying to do, because you don't get a lot of cards or anything in the mail anymore except for bills.
Yeah.
What about, you know, what, and Isaac, building back 2 weeks ago, doing a funny little GIF. If you send a message with this goofy little GIF, you did the one with you kind of smiling and doing this, but you know, maybe you do a little GIF that kind of catches someone's attention instead of always just writing something you're constantly having to read. So yeah, something a little bit different.
Yeah, so this is what I've heard, to kind of sum it up so far. To get the conversation off of LinkedIn, we have asking for collaboration. That's been one thing that Judy said, asking for collaboration to create a piece of material, or maybe even for business help. People, and that might even be a trend where a year from now, people are tired of being asked for help. But right now, I've heard that actually Jer says that he's in the Netherlands. He told me that end of last year that was working well for them. So asking for collaboration is a good way to get people off LinkedIn. I heard another one that I heard was giving quality material that's going to plug people into a quality funnel. That was the consultant, right? or the gamification. They take the score. They don't mind giving their email. They're getting some good resources, and then they're put into an email funnel that they like because it matters to them, is relevant to them. That's another thing I heard. Another thing I heard from Alfred, attending live events for the Common Ground, seeing who comments, and then following up with them afterwards, investing enough in that dialogue so that when you say, can we do a phone or Zoom, they don't feel weirded out or like it's forced, because you've invested enough in the relationship there. And then the sending a physical gift like the wine to get people off of LinkedIn as well. Any other strategies?
Great. What Judy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Okay. What Judy was saying, because she hit on when you were talking about the co-creation of content works phenomenally well. And we've been doing this we discovered this about 5 years ago. If you create an opportunity for your prospect to contribute their expertise in the name of helping someone else, they will almost always agree to do it. What's working best right now is podcast. And to your point, Isaac, I predict that it's not going to last much longer because everybody's jumping on it. But it can also be, I'm writing a book, I'm doing some research, I'm building a community. Just, I think you could offer a lot of help. And, and there's a psychological reason why this works, because Harvard did a study where they hooked people up to MRIs or whatever and had them talk about themselves. And they found out that the reward center of our brains light up when we talk about ourselves. So if you give people a legitimate, it's got to be real. I mean, you got to really be writing a book or doing a podcast or whatever. But that approach is what has allowed us to fill our client. We get our clients 10 to 20 calls with ideal prospects month after month after month using that approach. So I can't recommend it highly enough. It works.
Yep. Yeah, that's really good. I like the way that you summarize that, the co-creation of content. Yeah. There's also this thing in psychology where when you can get somebody, like I feel like marketing books and trends and what I've read for a long time was be a giver, earn their trust. Totally legit. But also on the flip side, if you can get somebody else to give you something, they've invested in you and they want to see you succeed as well. It's almost backwards. It has to be the right ask.
That's the Benjamin Franklin principle. That's actually known as the Benjamin Franklin principle. He found that actually you actually build a stronger bond with someone who you can get to do a favor for you than you offering them a favor. So it can be very small. It can be a very small ask, like participating in a survey or content co-creation, those sorts of things. But that actually is a stronger bonding thing.
That's wild.
Well,
So
that's
it's like
also in the sales, for those that know sales, that's sales 101. When you're trying to get someone to buy a product, you need to get them invested in the process, because the more they're invested in the process, they have more to lose than you offering the complete solution. If they're not invested, they can walk away. But if they put a lot of time and energy in the process, they have a higher likelihood of buying from you because they've invested time.
That's wild.
I was just going to add something. Y'all know Brynn Tillman?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing.
We're not best friends, but I know who she is.
Okay, at 2:00.
We are good friends.
She's doing a webinar at 2:00 on how to move conversations. It's called Converting LinkedIn Connections to Conversations. And I'm trying to find the link because I can't send you my Zoom link because they're all individually registered. Otherwise, it'll be weird. But what I'll do is anybody on that social selling chat?
I am.
I don't know.
With Brynn, because I think it's pretty interesting. Oh wait, let me give me a minute here, and I'll put it in there.
I can get in the chat now.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
I think I might have it as well.
On the list.
So do you have a link to that webinar too? Because I guess even if you can't go, you could just get the, register and get the content, listen to it later on. But Bryn usually puts on a really good, insightful webinar.
Nice.
She's all about, giving value and really people, the takeaways are usually some pretty good action items. So I'm trying to find where it is though.
Oh, Judy just shared it. Thank you, Judy.
Can I jump in real quick? I feel like I'm sort of the new kid on the block here. So
Hey.
hey, everybody.
Yeah, that is it.
Know each other very well, but
Yep,
I just wanted to ask along the lines of what some of you were talking about here about getting somebody to commit, many mile markers and give you or do a favor for you. Has anybody done along the line, Judy, what you were talking about with assessments and then revisiting an assessment within a certain period of time? Has anybody done challenges and sort of required a commitment or accountability with any type of a challenge, a 3-7-day challenge or something like that, where you sort of touch them every day, but make sure they're committing in some respect?
Do you guys see the
We haven't done
that challenge that Shelley Elsinger did? What she did was she created an event. And then the event was during this 48-hour period, Decide to Be Kind was to go and endorse people and to do this act of kindness. And then what she did was people that participated, she actually sent, and I have it here, and she sent this bracelet. And I got this in the mail from her, Decide to Be Kind with the hashtag. And I just thought, this is amazing. And it came with a note, and she's in Ontario. So this is like international mail here.
Wow.
But it was amazing. And not only I participated in, what I did was there was like 350 people that said yes to the event. So those that I wasn't connected with, I went through and I said, hey, I'd love to endorse you, but need to be connected. And I mean, through that, we got conversations going. It was really that was internal though. That was with LinkedIn people. But I think, if you think of it from a client perspective or something that you want to do to do that, you can use LinkedIn to create the event. You can get the groundswell, and you still see content coming out with that hashtag. So I think that, Vivek, it's a really good idea, is create challenges or kind of people like to, it's that herd kind of mentality.
Well, and the challenge being that obviously every step of the way you're offering them, yes, you're requiring accountability and commitment and you're getting to know each other through that, but you're also giving them value in each step that you're asking them to perform or do or engage with. And a second question I had is, have any of you, are you using voicemails for mobile to leave sort of a little bit more of a 3-dimensional touch or a short video? Talking about being happy with connecting and all that. Maybe you guys already talked about that. You can say it seems like all of you have history here, so maybe you already touched on it. But
oh, totally. So can I piggyback real quick on before moving to the multimedia messages with the challenge? So Joe Bork, he's here occasionally. He runs ProEd with a guy named Mikola. They work with Executive Ed, and they did so Exec Ed. This is like colleges, executive education teams. They're kind of like scrambling because of COVID and the way that's affected the university system. And then they have all these conferences that can't happen anymore. So what they did with really to the challenge, Vivica, was they said, we all need the accountability, like you were just saying. We all want to not only like do it, but to have value and be invested enough to where people follow through on the challenge. So they actually set up a challenge that was is paid. So you have to pay for it. It's not just a, hey, let's all do it. It was a paid thing. And then they would talk to people, multiple channels. And then if someone said yes, it's like they're just off of LinkedIn. Sorry, somebody's got a background noise that's distracting me. So who is that? Sorry. Anyways, it's cool. So that they did that, Vivica, with the challenge, and it worked well for them. But it's also was very niche as well, and it was paid. So something to think about there. Okay. With the multimedia messages, yes, we've done that. My challenge with that is we use the Sales Navigator inbox, and you can't do that on the Sales Nav inbox, which I feel like is such a bummer. Only the normal LinkedIn inbox, which is harder to scale, but.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've just been doing it from the normal LinkedIn inbox from mobile. I mean, I still.
I did 20 or 30 of those as a test, and I was expecting super results, and I did not get super results. And I did the video in it. I held my phone up here, had a nice background. It was very personal to them. And I was surprised at how little result I got out of it.
Yeah, I had great results from it either. I was just curious if it could be done differently with better results, but so thanks. Yeah.
What we've done, Vivica, is I did a test probably 2 months ago where I recorded a video with this background and this mic and stuff, added it to my phone. It was like me being authentic, but it was kind of generic because I'm not saying their name and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was actually longer than what people recommended. It was like 1.5 minutes long. And when I received a connection request, I'd use my mobile app to send the video message. And even though it was pre-produced, you know, so it wasn't done through the phone. And I experienced similar reply rates that Mike was talking about to other, just like a text message. But the one difference that I did experience was when the person replied, it was like we jumped ahead 10 text exchanges. Because it was like, yeah, I didn't get a lot more replies, but people were like more eager to talk when they were ready to talk.
People felt closer to you.
Yeah.
Because of that touch point.
Yeah. That's been our experience
I'm
so
not
far.
sure I'd fully give up on that idea, but this test cooled my jets on it. I was ready to go forward and do a whole lot more of that.
Mm-hmm. I've been receiving a lot more video messages, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a trend. There's so many bots out there. I feel like even if I don't watch it, I know it's a person, you know? So, yeah, good question. All right. We're past the hour. Any other emergency questions that we need to talk about before I end this guy?
Awesome as always, Isaac.
You guys are wonderful. I appreciate your time. All right, so until next week.